So Battlefield 6 has been out for just over a week now, and I think we're all starting to learn the ins and outs of this game, but I will say there is quite a lot of little hidden mechanics and stuff in this game that aren't overly apparent. And so today we're going over 10 things that Battlefield 6 doesn't really tell you. Now, really quickly before we do get into it, I'm starting a Battlefield 6 top 5 play series here on the channel. Each season is going to have giveaways for the winners like battle passes and potentially some merch. And obviously to start the series, I need you guys to submit your clips to be featured here on the channel. So head to the link in the description. That link will be in the description of every single video moving forward, and just submit your clips to be featured in an upcoming episode. I'll be kickstarting in season 1 at some point, so get your clips in as soon as possible to increase your chances of being featured. Now, moving on to the first thing that Battlefield 6 doesn't tell you, this is the fact that you can actually sneakily open doors in this game by simply going up to them while aimed down sights and opening the door normally. When you do this, as you can see, it's actually going to open the door slowly, and this is going to reduce the noise that you're actually making when you're opening doors compared to opening them normally, or like most of us probably do, sprinting through the door, which is obviously very loud. Now, at the moment, I'll be honest, this probably isn't the most useful tip, simply because we all know that Battlefield is absolute chaos. But what I will say is that once the BR launches for this game, this is going to be a very, very handy tip. And hell, even in regular Battlefield, if you're pulling off an awesome flank, for example, this can be a very helpful tip to know. So get out there, pull off some flanks, and this will be very, very advantageous in those situations. Now, the next little tip that I've got for you guys is surrounding some of the keybinds, where you can actually bind the steady breath and the rangefinder zeroing to your ADS button. Now, this has kind of gone around the community quite a bit lately. If you head to your keybinds, regardless if you're on PC or console, and just bind the steady breath and the range finding keybinds to the same button that you use through ADS, which is obviously going to be right mouse button or L2 or the left trigger on controller. And that means that when you aim down sights, you will instantly zero to the distance that you're aiming at, meaning you don't have to lead your shots in the same way. You don't have to aim above the enemy's head if you're shooting at long distance. And it will also make you instantly hold your breath, which helps a hell of a lot when sniping as well. So be sure to set both of these. You obviously need the rangefinder equipped for that to actually work on the rangefinder, but if that is attached to your weapon, that will happen instantly just by aiming down sights. Now, the next thing that the game doesn't really tell you is to do with the incendiaries, or realistically just any fire in this game. You can actually put out incendiaries by throwing a smoke on that area. Now, this isn't an immediate effect. It will seemingly make the fire go away quicker, but it's not immediate. But as you can see here, when you shoot a car, for example, and it blows up, there is fire for quite some time. Whereas if you do the same thing and then throw a smoke on it, it does seem like the smoke actually suppresses that fire a little bit. And that can be really helpful if the enemy team are spamming incendiaries. Just throw some smoke and that will definitely help your team push into that area. Now, the next tip is to do with the assault ladder, which is a pretty awesome gadget in this game. And for those who didn't know, this can be used in multiple different ways. You don't have to use it as a ladder. This can also be used as a ramp to get across areas that maybe you can't jump across, or even to get up more diagonal areas where you're not climbing directly up, you're actually climbing sort of diagonally up to a different area of a building, for example. And this is done automatically, so it only really matters in what direction you're placing the assault ladder. As you can see, if you place it on a flatter sort of surface, it will just be a ramp. If you do this in a more vertical way, it will instantly just go to a ladder instead. And you can use this to get to some pretty insane spots. If you guys watched the Reddit reaction the other day, there was a dude on Siege of Cairo who got to the most insane spot overlooking one of the flags that you pretty much cannot counter. So use this to get to some pretty awesome spots. I think once people catch on to this, it's going to be a pretty popular tactic. Now, just quickly, for those interested in making the weapon grind a little bit easier in Battlefield 6, MitchCactus.com has you covered, as they'll actually handle everything you want, from weapon leveling, completing challenges, or even ranking up your overall level while you're out at work or at school. With nearly 20,000 verified Trustpilot reviews, all of their packages are completely safe and legitimate. It's all handled manually in-game, so there's no hacking or glitching involved, and they provide these services across Xbox, PlayStation, and PC with a 100% money-back guarantee. Head on over to MitchCactus.com using the link in the description and use code SAMMY for 5% off for a limited time only. Now, the next tip that I've got here is one that actually kind of blew my mind when I first learned this, because I don't play on console. But if you're on PS5, or even if you are on PC and are using a PS5 controller, you can actually use the PS5 trackpad to map actions in game to the different swipe directions on the trackpad. So all you need to do is go into your key bindings, and if you go to set any action, if you just swipe, for example, left on the trackpad, it will count that as a button, and you can actually then use that to add some pretty cool keybinds. You can have, for example, the sort of flick aim effect where you can pretty much instantly aim behind you. You could set that to be swiping down on the trackpad, and then it means if someone's behind you, all you need to do is just quickly swipe down and you will do a 180, for example. That is just one example, but you can pretty much set this to whatever you want. So if you guys are using a PS5 controller, be sure to make the most of that. That is a pretty big advantage over using an Xbox controller. Now, the next thing that the game doesn't make very apparent is to do with Mirak Valley. This is two little things that are both related to the crane. Now, first and foremost, this is something that is awesome in my opinion. You can shoot this concrete pipe in the middle of the map, and after dealing enough damage to it, it will just kind of crumble and it will fall to the ground, which in itself just kind of looks cool. But shout out to my guys Flakfire and Too Much Cyanide, because I've actually seen both of these guys land this on a tank and actually get a kill by simply shooting some concrete. So that is something that you guys want to be making the most of. If you can see a tank underneath this, then absolutely jump on that, because that is an only in Battlefield moment if I've ever seen it. Now, the other little tip here too is that there is obviously some levolution involved in this map where you can shoot down the crane and bring it down to the ground. Now, I initially thought you needed to shoot the base of the actual crane because I just thought that's what's holding it up. But no, you need to shoot the counterweight at the back of it. I think it takes about 4 RPG hits, at which point you'll see it will start to crumble. And that is the way to bring down the crane on Mirak Valley. It makes a pretty cool spectacle and does change up that middle section of the map quite a bit. Now, something else the game doesn't make very obvious is that the Recon drone is actually a little bit more powerful than most people probably give it credit for. For those who didn't know, you can actually blow up mines with the Recon drone, and you can actually get so many kills doing this. I've seen a few crazy clips online this week of people getting like genuine kill streaks with the Recon drone where they're killing 4, 5, 6 enemies, all from the safety of the drone. So if you do play Recon quite regularly, pull out that Recon drone. If you see any mines out there, you can actually just blow them up. And to me, this is an awesome mechanic that, again, I don't think that many people actually know this. Now, moving on, we know that the sweet spot mechanic is back in Battlefield 6, which, to be honest, I don't think most people love, but it is there, so we have to make the most of it. Now, for those who don't know what the sweet spot mechanic is, when you're using a sniper, there are certain ranges where you'll actually be able to one-hit kill enemies, not just to the head, but to the body as well, which does make sniping a hell of a lot easier at those distances. Now, it is a little bit different for each sniper, but I'm sure most of you will be using the M2010. That is definitely the best sniper in the game, and that has a sweet spot of just over 100 meters. I think it's 105 to probably around 115 meters, and in that range you will just one-hit kill enemies. Now, a really useful tip to know though is that if you see an enemy sniper through their like lens glare, but it has this weird rainbow effect on it compared to just being like a regular white glare as it normally is, well, that means you are in their sweet spot. And so if you see that, you should definitely be taking cover. On the flip side though, if you see that, that probably means they are in your sweet spot as well. And so if you're sniping and you see an enemy with that rainbow sniper glint, well, you can pretty much counter that by knowing that you can instantly kill them as well. So again, the game doesn't really make that super obvious. It is obvious once you notice it, but hopefully that does help some of you guys out when it comes to sniping. Now, something else the game doesn't make really obvious is that as an engineer, you can actually disarm enemy mines and take them for yourself. So not only are you getting rid of them, but this also allows you to actually place more down yourself. I think at one point I've had up to 6 mines that I was able to deploy. Now, I don't know for a fact if you can actually place all 6 down. Sometimes it will just remove previous ones you've placed, but regardless, it is a helpful tip to know that if you see some enemy mines, you can just get rid of them and clear the way for your friendly tanks. Now, last but not least, and this is easily the most mind-blowing thing in this video, you guys are going to be absolutely shocked by this. For those who didn't know, you can fucking revive your teammates. This is a secret little mechanic that has actually been in every single Battlefield game in history, and somehow people still don't know this is a thing. So if you are playing as the support class, or even if your squad mates have gone down, and you see the really, really big and super obvious revive icon on your screen, yes, I know it's crazy, but you can actually revive people in this game. So get out there, do your actual job if you are playing as a support. I know this is insane because clearly no one fucking understands this, but yes, you can revive your teammates in Battlefield 6. But that is it for 10 things the game doesn't tell you guys. Obviously, number 10 is taking the piss. But if I'm being completely honest, I think that is probably the one that most people need to know. If there's anything you think I missed though, be sure to leave a comment down below. I'm definitely keen to do a follow-up to this, doing like 10 more things the game doesn't tell you. And so, like I said, if there's anything I missed, be sure to leave it down below, and I'll be happy to give some of you guys some shout outs in the follow-up video. But that is going to do it for this one. Thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.